Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to talk about Sandy and Luna. We've pretty much covered Jackie, still waiting on an update on her today, hopefully. We've talked about Shadow a bit on what his plans may be. Today we're going to go over Luna and Sandy and see what might be going on with them. So, everybody stay tuned, like the video, share with a friend, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much, and as always, be safe.
For months, millions of people around the world watched every unforgettable moment inside one of the most famous bald eagle nests on Earth. They witnessed Jackie and Shadow raise two remarkable eaglets through snowstorms, spring sunshine, sibling rivalry, and countless fish deliveries. Then, in July 2026, the moment everyone had been anticipating finally arrived. Sandy and Luna spread their wings and left the nest. For many viewers, that first flight felt like the ending of an incredible story. But for a young bald eagle, it's actually the beginning. Life beyond the nest is a critical stage filled with discovery, mistakes, and survival lessons that cannot be learned from the safety of a nest tree. Today on Timescape News, we're exploring what really happens after fledglings leave home, how much of their behavior is instinct, what they still learn from their parents, and where Sandy and Luna are likely headed during the next stage of their extraordinary journey. Back in early April 2026, Sandy and Luna enter the world weighing only about 100 grams each. Tiny, fragile, and completely dependent on Jackie and Shadow. Over the next several weeks, viewers watch an extraordinary transformation. Jackie devoted herself to brooding and protecting the eaglets during their earliest days, shielding them from mountain weather while carefully feeding every bite. Shadow became the tireless provider, making countless hunting trips to keep his growing family well fed. Within just 10 weeks, those tiny hatchlings had grown into powerful young birds weighing approximately 10 to 12 pounds, with wings stretching more than 6 feet from tip to tip. As June turned to July, another milestone approached. The eaglets were preparing to leave home. Sandy's first flight came unexpectedly after slipping from the nest, but she quickly recovered and demonstrated the strength and confidence that viewers had watched develop over the season. Luna chose a more cautious path. Like many young bald eagles, she spent time branching, moving onto nearby limbs while strengthening her wings and practicing balance before committing to full flight. According to friends of Big Bear Valley, branching is a completely normal stage of development, allowing eaglets to gain confidence before fledging. Although their departures happen differently, both Sandy and Luna fledge within the typical time frame for bald eagles, roughly 10 to 14 weeks after hatching. Leaving the nest doesn't mean a young eagle suddenly becomes an expert. In many ways, it's the opposite. At fledging, Sandy and Luna possess incredible physical abilities. Their wings are fully developed. Their eyesight is exceptionally sharp. Their instincts tell them they were born to fly. But experience? That's something they still have to earn. During these first weeks, young bald eagles often make clumsy landings. They overshoot branches. They misjudge distances. They lose balance. Even catching fish isn't easy. Many first attempts end with missed strikes, dropped prey, or empty talons. These awkward moments aren't failures. They're the classroom of the wild. Every flight builds stronger muscles. Every landing improves coordination. Every mistake becomes another lesson that increases their chances of surviving on their own. One of the most fascinating questions about bald eagles is this: how much do they already know, and how much must they learn? The answer is both. Instinct provides an extraordinary foundation. From the moment they leave the nest, Sandy and Luna already understand how to flap, glide, perch, balance, avoid obvious danger, and respond to their parents' calls. These behaviors are deeply rooted in their biology, but hunting is different. No eagle is born knowing exactly how to catch a fish. That skill takes practice. Timing a dive, judging wind speed, reading the water's surface, extending their talons at precisely the right moment, recovering from a missed strike, finding another opportunity. These are learned behaviors refined through repetition. Like any athlete, they improve with experience. During these early weeks, their hunting success rate is expected to be quite low, a normal part of becoming an independent eagle. One of the biggest questions viewers ask is simple. Where are Sandy and Luna now? The answer is probably much closer than many people think. Following fledging, young bald eagles typically remain within 1 to 2 miles of their nest for several weeks. Rather than immediately leaving Big Bear Valley, they're likely exploring familiar territory. They may perch in nearby Jeffrey Pines, practice short flights over the lake, rest along quiet sections of the shoreline, or occasionally return to the nest to rest or receive food. At this stage, Big Bear Lake is still their world. The nest remains a recognizable home base while they build confidence and independence. Although the eaglets have fledged, Shadow's work as a father isn't over. His role simply changes. Instead of feeding helpless chicks every few hours, he now becomes something more like a mentor. Wildlife researchers have observed that male bald eagles often continue providing food for fledglings during the weeks after they leave the nest. Just as importantly, they teach by example. Every hunting trip demonstrates technique. Every patrol reinforces territory. Every warning call communicates valuable information about danger and opportunity. Shadow doesn't need to explain these lessons. Sandy and Luna learn by watching, by following, by trying, and by gradually relying less on their father's experience and more on their own. Throughout July and August, Sandy and Luna will continue developing the skills they'll need for adulthood. Their flight muscles will grow stronger. Their soaring ability will improve. They'll spend more time exploring the shoreline and nearby forest. Their hunting attempts will become more successful, and little by little, they'll depend less on food provided by Shadow. By late summer and early fall, they'll likely begin expanding their range beyond the immediate nest area, venturing farther into surrounding mountains as confidence replaces caution. As autumn approaches, another major transition begins. Young bald eagles don't usually establish permanent territories right away. Instead, many disperse over surprisingly long distances. Some travel hundreds of miles, others cross state lines. Researchers tracking banded juvenile bald eagles have documented remarkable journeys as young birds follow food sources, avoid conflicts with territorial adults, and explore new habitats. Exactly where Sandy and Luna will eventually go remains unknown. That's part of what makes following wild eagles so fascinating. Their future is unwritten. Before those larger adventures begin, Sandy and Luna have something many young eagles would envy, an exceptional training ground. Big Bear Lake offers abundant fish populations, open water for practicing hunting, mountain thermals that help young birds develop soaring skills, tall conifers for safe perching, and a landscape that has supported generations of bald eagles. It's also one of Southern California's premier wintering habitats for bald eagles, attracting birds from across the region. Still, life here isn't without challenges. Seasonal storms can arrive quickly. Human activity increases during busy weekends. Competition from other birds, including ravens and adult eagles, can complicate feeding opportunities. Each challenge helps shape the bird Sandy and Luna will become. Every great journey begins with a single step, or in this case, a single flight. Sandy and Luna may have left the nest, but they haven't left the story. Far from it. The months ahead will determine whether they become skilled hunters, confident flyers, and eventually successful adults capable of raising families of their own. Meanwhile, Jackie continues her recovery, and Shadow remains a steadfast guardian of the Big Bear territory that has become known around the world. Together, they've given Sandy and Luna the strongest possible foundation. Now, nature takes over. The next chapter belongs to two young eagles discovering the world one flight at a time. We'll continue following their incredible journey here on Timescape News, bringing you the latest updates from Big Bear Lake and the wildlife stories that remind us just how extraordinary the natural world can be. If you enjoyed this report, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to help others discover the continuing story of Jackie, Shadow, Sandy, and Luna. Until next time, thanks for watching Timescape News, and as always, be safe.